Right now, we still don't know who those other 8 victims are, but that shooting happened right at this church, a little bit ways behind me, a few blocks down this road. Now, police are still searching for that shooter. You can see right here on Meeting Street and Calhoun Street, it is blocked off, and a lot of this area is blocked off as police continue their search. The shooting happened around 9 Wednesday night. Police say a shooter opened fire during a prayer meeting. 9 people were killed, 8 died on scene, and 1 at the hospital. Police Chief Greg Mullen says several people were shot, and there are survivors, but not saying how many. The police chief also says this is a hate crime.
It is senseless, and it is unfathomable that somebody in today's society would walk into a church when people are having a prayer meeting and take their lives.
Police are still looking for that shooter. They say it's a white male in his early 20s and that he has sandy blonde hair and was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt and jeans. But this is one of the most historic churches in South Carolina, and again, the police chief does say this is a hate crime and the FBI is helping in this investigation. This is definitely a shock to this community and a tragedy out here this morning, and as soon as we get any updated information, we'll absolutely let you know.
Julie, still a very active scene, and you just spoke with someone out there. Tell us what you've learned.
Right, Meredith, I'm out here. The church where that shooting happened is just a few blocks down this road, but I spoke with one man who was out here in a prayer circle, members of the community just here, you know, trying to get that power of prayer back out here. And I spoke to him, and he just is still really in disbelief that this even happened, still trying to process and wrap his mind around this. And when I asked him if there was anything that he had to say to that shooter about what happened, he said really just all he would need and want to do is forgiveness. That press conference ended just a few moments ago, but what they did is they gave us this flyer with pictures. You can see the suspect right here, and they say that he left in that black 4-door sedan. Now, they aren't sure the exact make and model at this time, but they are asking for everyone's help in this. They say they have all teams on deck and they are vigilant in searching for him. Meredith, in just about 5 minutes, there will be another press conference where they will give more details and take more questions into the actual investigation. Now, they say they are going to have a reward in this press conference. That's when they will be releasing just how much that reward is. But what we do know is that investigators do have surveillance video of the suspect, and they also know that he left in a black 4-door sedan. Now, they aren't releasing the exact make and model of that car yet, but they do say he is dangerous, and they're asking people to be vigilant out there. I'll show you again what that flyer looked like. You can see this is the picture of the suspect, and that is the car, and they're asking if anybody sees this, has any information, to call them. They can call 1-800-CALL-FBI, and operators are there taking information, taking questions. So if you see anything, call. They said again to be vigilant, keep an eye out, but there will be another press conference at 7 this morning. Well, they'll give us more information about the actual investigation. This one was just about the suspect. The suspect actually was sitting inside the church during that meeting and during that prayer service for an hour before he shot and killed those 9 people. Now, we do know that the 9 people that were killed, there were 6 females and 3 male victims. We also just found out that there were 3 survivors in that. Meredith, 9 people were killed, 6 were female and 3 were males. Now, one of those people killed was State Senator Pinckney, but right now investigators don't know if anyone was targeted. There were 3 survivors in this shooting, and investigators say the suspect was actually sitting inside that prayer meeting for an hour before he started shooting. Now, they also say they have a surveillance image of the suspect that they are putting out to get help from people to identify him. They also say that he left in a black 4-door sedan, but they still don't know the exact make and model of that. Now, they have all hands on deck here. There are law enforcement agencies from Washington, FBI, SLED, and the Charleston Sheriff's Office and Police Department all working around the clock to investigate this and find this man. But the police chief for Charleston, Greg Mullen, says this is unacceptable in any society.
This tragedy is undescribable. No one in this community will ever forget this night. And because of the pain and because of the hurt that this individual has caused this community, this entire community, The law enforcement agencies that are working on this are committed, and we will catch this individual.
Investigators say they are using public and private cameras to get more surveillance of the suspect. They also say the biggest thing they're concerned about right now is the families, and they have victim assistance for them. But again, all hands on deck, investigators out here working to find that suspect, and they say to be vigilant and keep an eye out for that suspect for people all across the country because they still don't know exactly where he is. But as soon as we get any more updated information, we will let you know. Meredith, police are still searching for that suspect, but they did get a surveillance picture of him. Now let's take a look at that picture right now. That is the suspect that they are looking for, and they want people to get this picture out, and if you have any information about this person, to call the police immediately. They also say that he left in a four-door black sedan. Now there is a picture of the car that he left in. They don't know the exact make and model as of yet, but this is the picture that they are posting out all across the country. They want people all across the East Coast to look out for him, as well as across the country, because they still do not know where the suspect is. But there were 9 people killed. 6 of them were females, 3 of them were males, 1 of them State Senator Pigney. Now investigators don't know if anybody was targeted. There were 3 survivors in that shooting. Investigators say the suspect was actually sitting inside of the church during that prayer meeting for an hour before he started shooting. Now investigators have all hands on deck. They have investigators from the FBI, SLED, Charleston Sheriff's Office, and the Charleston Police Office to try to find this guy. But the mayor, everybody in the community is just trying to wrap their heads around this, and they say that this is unacceptable in any type of society.
This community is going to provide the best example of a community coming together to help those grieving because of an unbelievable event.
Now you can see that the streets are kind of up and running right now. There's a lot more people out. This is really starting to sink in with the community, but there is a prayer vigil today at Morris Brown at noon. We will be there, and we will keep you updated on any new information that we get. Meredith. Well, you can see roads are back open. There's a lot more movement out here, and investigators say they have law enforcement all over the city. So people who work and live here, you should still feel safe, as well as people who are traveling here. But again, there will be a prayer service at noon at Morris Brown. We will be there. We will keep you updated. Right, Meredith, and right here at this vigil, I'm going to step out. You can see it's just now getting underway. There is a big group of people out here singing, and I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit so you can kind of hear them. You can see a lot of people from all different faiths have been coming here, Catholic, Jew, all people from all walks of life, as a community to come together, especially since this is such a religious community here. And I spoke with one member of the church who those bullets could have easily been for him, but he left that church right before the shooting.
I'll step out.
A hate crime that shook the holy city.
That guy came in, sat down next to the pastor for a few minutes and jumped up and said, "I'm gonna kill y'all," and started shooting.
21-year-old Dylan Roof sitting face to face in a prayer service with his victims before he shot and killed 9 people. And church member Clifford Jones says the motive, pure hate.
One lady was still alive, and he asked her, "Did I shoot you?" And she said, "No." He said, "Good, I want you to go and tell a story."
Jones mourning the loss of his fellow church members. 6 women, 3 men, and now 9 families without a loved one.
I feel empty. I mean, just feel empty. I don't know. I've been in the military for 32 years, and I've never experienced not this much tragedy at one time.
Jones was in the church less than an hour before the senseless shooting, and one of the last people to talk to the pastor.
He said, "Okay, Brother Jones, I got to go now. I'm going to catch some of Bible study." And that was the last I seen him.
Jones says the shooter may have taken lives, but he hasn't taken their faith.
We'll be back, though. We'll be back. We'll be back. We won't quit. We won't let the devil win this battle.
Now we know now that that shooter was caught, and the police made sure, they were very adamant that he was going to be caught. And so the police, I know a lot of people here and members of that church are just relieved that he is caught and that this man can be brought to justice. Mary, like you just said, life is going on. Earlier I saw a man on his morning run just running by here, stopped to put a t-shirt down over here at this memorial. And also there have been people from all over coming to show their support. I know at that vigil yesterday at noon there was, I mean, you could just feel the energy. There were people on their knees, a whole group just praying together and coming together. So like you said, you know, an outsider came in and did this, but it's also bringing people from the outside in here for support. Now, there were vigils at churches from all types of religions, hundreds of people praying, singing, holding hands, and really just clinging to each other and clinging to their faith in the wake of this tragedy. One was at the Morris Brown AME Church, and it was standing room only, packed with people from all walks of life. Now, yesterday, people started tying ribbons and dropped off flowers at the Emmanuel AME Church, and that still continues this morning. Now, this is something the community says that they absolutely will never forget, but they will be able to have another opportunity to come together tonight. There is another vigil at 6 at the College of Charleston, and it will be on George Street. Now, over here at Meeting and Calhoun Street, those will start to be closing off at 5, and also they say it's kind of first come, first serve with getting in there, and like we've seen, it's been a massive outpouring, a lot of people coming, so try to get there early if you can, and they say not bring bags either, because they'll have to be searched. But you know, I think from what we've seen from everybody is that Charleston, especially this church, is not going to let them bring this down. Especially to talk to a church member, they said the church has been through so much history. 196 years old. They had underground railroads here, and you know, Martin Luther King spoke here as well. So they've been through a lot, and they're not going to let this instance tear them down. Well, Christy, this memorial has really become the epicenter of where everybody is coming to cope. Now you can see there are people coming up right now. We have kids up here, families, bringing them here to where this tragedy happened, all to pay their respects. Now you can see this memorial, the people have been coming, putting flowers, candles, cards, and they have been doing that since last night, and this memorial has just grown exponentially. Now I talked to one minister who came all the way from Baltimore just to pay his respects here. In the morning light, the reality of 9 lives lost at this church sinks in as people from all walks of life and faith come to pray, lay flowers, and pay their respects.
It's a place where we all go to go ahead and better ourselves. Evil is going to find every place that it can.
Matthew Spears is a minister in Baltimore, the only white member in an all-black church. And despite a heinous hate crime, he prays for the man who wreaked havoc in the holy city.
I pray for him. I pray that he'll find peace in his heart and he'll repent with a sincere heart.
A community comes together on a national and global scale, and as people cross the crime tape, they're crossing racial and social lines.
God does not make mistakes. He doesn't make one race or one culture or anything better than the other. It's our hearts.
A city and church stand strong, doing one of the hardest things after so much hurt.
In your hearts, learn to forgive, because God sees sin as sin, wrong is wrong. It makes no difference. We see sin and wrong with levels. God sees it as wrong or right.
Now, I did speak to a local earlier today, and he said that he's proud to live in Charleston. He's proud of the way that the community and first responders and everybody has responded to this tragedy. Now, there is a vigil tonight at the College of Charleston at 6. The roads are going to start to close at 5, and officials are asking you not to bring bags because every bag will have to be searched, and so that would just kind of speed that process along. But again, tonight there's going to be another way for people to come together to cope